Hi, hi there. Welcome to the Atlanta Voice.
Thank you for having me.
So, share with our viewers who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Jasmine Crowe, and I am the founder and CEO of Goodr. Goodr is a sustainable food waste management company. We're leveraging technology to combat hunger. I've been invested in the food fight, should I say, since about 2013 when I first moved to Atlanta. I was driving through downtown and I saw hundreds of people standing outside on what used to be the Pine Street and Peachtree shelter, which is now closed. And something just in that moment moved me, and I was desiring to do something to help people that were in need. So I created this event called Sunday Soul, and it was an opportunity for members of our homeless community to enjoy a delicious Sunday dinner paired with some good old school music like Aretha Franklin and Marvin Gaye, the Jackson 5. And we would start feeding about 100 people. And over the years, that number would grow to over 400. And I was really proud of the work that we were doing, but I wanted more for those that we were serving. So I created this pop up restaurant. And so it was called the Sunday Soul Pop Up Restaurant. And I was renting tables and chairs and linens and bringing out fresh flowers and allowing our guests to actually sit down and dine with dignity while they enjoyed a 5-course meal off of a menu. And a video from one of the volunteers, it was a small 15-second little clip. It went viral on Facebook. And I was reading one night through these millions and millions of likes and thousands of comments, and there was one reoccurring question amongst all the praise. People were saying which restaurants donated the food, which restaurants donated the food. And the reality, and I guess the sad truth, was that no restaurants donated the food. I literally would go to about 7 to 8 grocery stores and farmers markets, just spending, the budget that I would set aside to put this meal together. So it was costing me a lot of time and money to do it. And it just dawned on me like, wow, restaurants do have food. Like, I wonder what they're doing with their extra food. And I started to research food waste, and I was really just blown away. Like, we're wasting 72 billion pounds of perfectly good food every year. And we have 42 million people that are going hungry. So we literally have enough food to feed everybody that's going hungry. So why weren't we doing it? And that's when I started to get the idea for a Goodr. And people always say, like, how did you get this idea to make it technology? And it was a funny story. In fact, Uber Eats was actually kind of just entering the Atlanta market. And I was getting all of these Uber Eats codes from friends of mine, like, hey, use my code and get $10 off. And I was like, wow, there should be an Uber Eats in reverse that could get this food from the restaurants and then take it to people in need. And that's when I started building Goodr.
So basically, what you're saying is the what you've shared on social media is what then fed into this startup. And creating this by not only just word of mouth, but basically word of post, per se.
Definitely.
Social media. So talk about how important that was into you developing this startup.
I, Social media was really important with me as far as giving me the spark to really get started with Goodr. Had it not been for that Facebook post going viral, it had it not been for one of my volunteers sharing it on her Facebook page to just support and show people like, hey, look what Jasmine's doing, look what's happening right here in Atlanta. I'm not sure if we would actually be with Goodr today. And I remember being so discouraged because a guy from Philadelphia saw what I did in Atlanta because it went viral, and he started a GoFundMe to do the same thing in Philadelphia. On the GoFundMe saying like, yeah, I saw this group, they did this in Atlanta. I want to do it in Philadelphia for 150 people. And he raised like $23,000. And I was so upset because it was, one, my idea. Two, like, I could do probably 2 years of Sunday Souls with $23,000. And he had raised this for one event for 150 people in Philadelphia. And I remember just being upset. But I used it really as an opportunity to say, like, people, you're going to inspire people, and they're going to, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And even though I think he could have reached out to us and he could have said like, hey, I saw what you guys did in Atlanta, would you be interested in doing that in Philadelphia? He really just took our idea and raised all this money from it. But I use it really as an opportunity, like, what else could come from this? So maybe it's not going to be that I'm going to raise all this money from a GoFundMe to keep doing these kind of events. Maybe I'm able to create something greater that maybe creates the end to me even having to do events like that, so that people are always eating. And so social media helped really get started with Goodr.
Right. So talk about how many people you know of that you guys have served around Atlanta.
Okay, just from Goodr?
Yes.
Okay, so not from Sunday Soul. So since
you can do Goodr and Sunday Soul,
okay,
because that eventually is the impact from that.
Yeah.
Per se.
So, with Sunday Soul, we have actually cooked and served over 55,000 meals throughout the U.S. We've also done activations in other cities outside of Atlanta, like New York, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., New Orleans. So tons of fun, tons of giving there. And so we've served about 55,000 meals. And these have been not sandwiches. And it's nothing against anyone that does do like sandwiches and lunch bags. Like these have been literally full meals. We've served everything from New York